The breeze at dawn has secrets to tell you. Don't go back to sleep. Rumi, you have felt it before. That quiet shiver on the inside when life lines up in a way that logic can't fully map. A meeting that arrives exactly when you're ready. A solution that appears the moment you stop forcing it. A sense that reality is thinner than it looks, like a veil you can almost lift. The world has taught you to distrust that sense and to treat it as coincidence, but some part of you knows it's the truest thing you've touched. That part is right, and it is already calling you forward. So much of our training says reality is solid, linear, and indifferent. We were told that only what can be measured is real, and that the self is a passenger in a machine made of parts. Yet the moments that keep you awake at night do not come from measurements. They come from meaning. They come from an invisible architecture of energy and attention, where your inner state and the outer world are not strangers, but partners moving in time. You have brushed that current more than once. You are not imagining it. Here is the promise. There is a way to stabilize that current, to stop treating alignment as an accident, and to live from the frequency where life responds because you are coherent on the inside. Today, I'll show you what that means, why it matters, and how to begin shaping it with simple practices you can actually do. If this resonates, drop a quick I'm in, or present in the comments, tap like and subscribe so this message finds who needs it. And stay to the end for a short daily practice you can start tonight. Think of dimension not as a faraway place, but as a state of perception that sets the rules for how you experience everything. Most of us were trained into a third dimension state where separation, duality, and a straight line of time define the game. In separation, you feel alone in a crowded room and compete for what already feels scarce. In duality, everything collapses into winners and losers, right and wrong, and your energy leaks into judgment rather than creation. In linear time, the future always lives over there, and you are always chasing it from over here. You push, you strive, you wait, and life answers at its own slow pace. If that model feels heavy lately, it is because you are outgrowing it. Fatigue, a hunger for meaning, the sudden loss of taste for old dramas. The way noise scrapes your nerves, these are not malfunctions. They are signals that the old lens is too small for who you are becoming. When the lens is too small, you do not need a louder life. You need a clearer one. You need a new state of perception that matches your internal truth. The fifth dimension state is not a fantasy or an escape. It is a lived sense of interconnection, where time behaves more like a field of possibilities than a narrow corridor. In that field, life is less about forcing outcomes and more about tuning. You don't abandon action. You align action. You stop controlling the river and start steering the boat by learning the current. You start letting the path show itself one precise step at a time, and somehow those steps are timely, intelligent, and kind. Reframing fear into calling is the first turn. If your sensitivity has felt like a burden, let's rename it. You are not fragile. You are finely tuned. You are not broken. You are receptive. The same sensitivity that once overwhelmed you becomes a compass once you honor it. When you treat your inner state not as a problem to fix, but as a home to tend, your life stops being a sequence of fires to put out and starts becoming a pattern you can recognize and shape. Awareness begins with noticing the exact moments your frequency drifts. Notice what happens in your body when an old story starts running, when a familiar hook invites you into conflict, when doom thinking tries to rent space in your mind. Name it without drama. I feel tightening in my chest. I feel heat in my face. I feel a drop in my belly. The naming is not decorative. It interrupts the autopilot, creates a pocket of presence, and returns you to choice. Keep a simple log of synchronicities and states. Write down 3 details: what you were feeling, what you were doing, and what aligned. You are not collecting trivia. You are collecting proof of relationship. Patterns appear quickly when you record them. You will see that clarity breeds clarity. You will see that gratitude has a signature. You will see that even small acts of coherence, clean words, clean breaks, clean breath precede unlikely doors opening. When you see the pattern, you trust it. When you trust it, you feed it. Interpretation is gentler than you think. When something lands in your field day image, a phrase you hear twice, a person who keeps showing up, ask a small question. What is this inviting me to become? Not, what does this predict? Not, what if I miss it? Become curious without grasping. Curiosity opens the window. Grasping slams it shut. When the answer is ready, it arrives in a sentence so simple it almost feels obvious. That feeling is the hallmark of truth. Awareness also means honoring the spaces that reset you. Some places are loud even when they are quiet. Some places are quiet even when life is loud. Learn your spaces. A corner of a room, a stretch of sky, the inside of a morning. You do not need perfect conditions. You need consistent cues. When you step into that cue, your nervous system recognizes home, and your field begins to order itself. Purification is not punishment. It is a friendly subtraction. Release what tangles your frequency. Conversations that always end in the same small place. Inputs that spike your nervous system without adding life. Habits that numb rather than nourish. Replace them with small rituals that tell your body the day has a shape. Light and water, breath and stillness. A line of gratitude said out loud as the light changes in your window. This is not theatrical. It is architectural. You are laying beams for a house you carry inside you. Simple prayer helps, whether you speak to the sacred as God, universe, or a field that holds you. Keep it short and true. Let me be clear inside. Let me meet this moment as who I really am. Show me the next right step. Then be quiet long enough to sense the answer. The answer often comes as a shift in posture, a loosening in the sternum, a sentence that stands up in your mind. When you feel the shift, take the next single step it suggests. One step keeps momentum honest. Gratitude is medicine for time. It stitches presence to possibility. Name what is good without keeping score. When you thank life for ordinary mercies, the warm mug, the solved problem, the unexpected laughter, you are not pretending everything is perfect. You are declaring that goodness is data. You are training your attention to recognize support. What you recognize, you cooperate with. What you cooperate with grows. Forgiveness is frequency maintenance. It is not the approval of harm or the erasure of justice. It is a decision to stop renting your inner house to old ghosts. You can keep the lesson and release the debt. You can keep the boundary and release the venom. Say it plainly. I release you to your path. I release me to mine. Feel the energy that floods back when you stop rehearsing the scene. That energy is building material. Spend it on what you are becoming. Stillness is not empty. It is charged. 10 slow breaths with your attention in the heart is not doing nothing. It is putting your hands on the controls. Many traditions point to the heart as a master center, and some researchers suggest the heart's field speaks a wide, organizing language to the body and beyond. When fear scrambles your signal, return to the heart and breathe until order returns. You are not delaying action. You are upgrading its source. Bridges matter because the mind loves bridges. Where spirituality says as within, so without, subtle sciences and lived experience nod in their own ways. Some researchers suggest that coherent, ordered internal states correlate with clearer choices, steadier physiology, and better timing. Many traditions view dawn and dusk as thin places where attention travels farther for the same effort. You do not need to win an argument between frames. You can let them speak to each other like neighbors. Integrative, not combative. Curious, not defensive. Synchronicity is the feedback loop you can trust. In a third dimension mindset, timing is a calendar problem. In the fifth dimension state, timing is a conversation. Think of someone and they reach out. Name a need and the right article, mentor, or invitation appears. When you are aligned, life does not have to march through 30 steps. It can skip, it can braid, it can bend. When it bends, do not act surprised while praying for miracles. Say, thank you, and keep walking. Relationships realign as your field clarifies. Some connections fall away without offense because the shared fuel is gone. This is not cruelty. It is chemistry. When drama becomes physically expensive to your system, your body refuses to pay. You choose quiet over noise, depth over display, presence over performance. You stop trying to save people from their timing. You offer your coherence and let it be an invitation rather than a demand. You love without the hook of fixing and discover that love goes farther when you stop pulling. Becoming the observer is how you keep your energy. Between the trigger and the reaction lives a space you can step into on purpose. In that space, you feel the surge, name it, and breathe until the surge loses its authority. You can still set a boundary, still speak a truth, still act with precision. You simply refuse to act from the storm. Precision is power. Reaction is leakage. When you practice this often, old hooks rust and fall away. You reclaim your weather. Ego dissolves, not by shame, but by sight. The roles you once wore, to be safe, begin to pinch. The titles that once propped you up feel hollow in your hands. The stories that bought you approval no longer buy you peace. You do not have to tear them off. You can grow out of them. You can thank them and walk on. On the other side is a self that is lighter, less defended, more available to life. You worry less about how you look and more about how you listen. You fight less with circumstances and more for your clarity. Inner coherence is not a slogan. It is creative power. When your thoughts, emotions, and intentions agree, your system orders itself. Ordered systems waste less energy. Systems that waste less energy are stable, generous, and magnetic. You stop saying one thing, feeling another, and doing a third. You say what you mean, you feel what you feel, and you act like someone you can trust. The world recognizes that signature and sends matching signals back. This is where the shift in manifestation becomes plain. In the old paradigm, you hustle to have, so you can finally be. In the new state, you practice being so, you naturally have. When you sustain the frequency of enoughness, the opportunities that need that frequency can finally find you. When you embody the frequency of clarity, the next step appears because clarity knows its own kind. When you carry the frequency of service, doors open that are proportionate to what you can hold. Being precedes having. Alignment precedes arrival. Trust precedes unfolding. When you honor your sensitivity as guidance, you stop apologizing for your superpower. When you bless what is working, you teach your nervous system to feel safe enough to expand. This is not denial of pain. It is devotion to order. It is choosing light over dark, quiet over noise, intent over drift. The mind will ask, but how will it happen? That is not your job. Your job is to maintain a field that welcomes what you ask in foro. Your job is to prepare a place for it inside you. Your job is to do the next thing you can do from peace and to stop rehearsing outcomes you do not want. The river will handle the bends. You handle the oar. The current is stronger than your effort when you stop fighting it. Remember, sensitivity is data. Discomfort is a signal. Solitude is a tool. If you need to pull back to recalibrate, do it without apology. If you need to end a conversation that always spirals, end it without ceremony. If you need to sit with your hand on your heart for 60 seconds before you answer that message, sit. Your future self will thank you for the order you protected today. Order does not mean rigidity. It means rhythm. It means knowing the cues that return you to yourself quickly. It means trusting short prayers and long exhalations. It means letting the day have edges. Morning for tuning, midday for evening for reflection. You are not at the mercy of everyone else's urgency. You are the steward of a frequency that sets the tone for the room you walk into. If you want proof, keep watching for the small convergences. A phrase that repeats, a number you keep seeing, a door that shuts cleanly, so a better one can open without you splitting your attention. These are the breadcrumbs of a benevolent order. Do not obsess over them. Do not worship them. Acknowledge them as signs that your inner house is recognizable from the street. Then, go on living well inside it. You will be tempted to explain your shift to everyone. You do not have to. Live it. Let your brother feel it when you choose softness over debate. Let your coworker feel it when your presence steadies the room. Let a stranger feel it when you put your phone down and look in their eyes at the checkout counter. Frequency travels faster than argument. Coherence communicates without a speech. There will be days when you forget. You will get hooked. You will overreact. You will re-enter the old game, and it will feel itchy the moment you do. Good. That itch is the alarm that wakes you. Smile at the part of you that still believes struggle earns permission to receive. Remind it that you are choosing a different economy now, not the economy of force. When you walk this way, reality stops feeling like a wall and starts feeling like a set of doors you know how to open, with honest words and cleaner boundaries, with less rush and more rhythm, with a heart that leads and a mind that serves, with a willingness to be surprised in the direction of your good. Here is your micro-practice for today. Tonight, before sleep, sit on the edge of your bed with both feet on the floor. Place one hand on your heart and one on your belly. Inhale slowly to a count that feels kind, and exhale a little longer than you inhale. Do this for 10 breaths. On the 8th breath, whisper one sentence that names who you are becoming. I am clear. I am aligned. I am generous. On the 9th breath, ask for the next step. On the 10th breath, listen to the silence just after the exhale. That silence is the doorway. Step through it with trust. Thank you for walking with me today. If something opened for you, tell me in the comments what signal of alignment you're noticing right now. And if you also wake between 3 and 5 in the morning, share what those hours feel like for you. I'm grateful you're here. Like, subscribe, and pass this to one person who needs a gentler map. When you're ready for your next step, watch the playlist on raising your baseline frequency and stabilizing synchronicity, so your days become steadier, wiser, and kinder.